today episode of Black Tech. I'm here with my a good friend of mine. I think I know him probably about 5 to 7 years now. He go by the name Lechon Kirb. What's going on, Lechon?
Hey man, how are you?
Lechon is I know Lechon through to the scenery downtown. Like I said before, I used to be a photographer, and Lechon as well used to be a photographer as well. So I used to go passing by and to a different event like fashion event and so like that. That's how I met him. And recently, in a few years, I didn't see him for a while, and he told me he had changed his career to digital marketing. And I said, "Oh, you're perfect. I'm doing something new about black technology, and you'd be perfect to and talk to the youth about like did you get to digital marketing and what inspired you to get this." And so, Lechon, what's going on today?
It's going good, man. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking your time. I know you're a very busy man, and we really appreciate for that for me to sit down to talk to you about what you're doing currently and how did you get into it, and hopefully you can give some knowledge to the youth about digital marketing.
Yeah. So, well, I guess it really starts with when I was young. You know, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my mom always had this like entrepreneurial spirit, you know, and it's kind of like instilled that in us. And me and my sister, and I knew down the road that I would try to figure out some way to kind of tap into that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 6 years old, I was at home, and with my sister, my cousin, and my mom happened to be home that day. She was working multiple jobs and trying to build a business too.
What kind of business she was running?
She was working on building a casting business.
Oh, nice.
To help people get into like commercials, movies, and stuff like that. And
that's awesome.
She also had like a TV show at one point or whatever. But so she was home at this particular day, and me and my cousin and my sister were going to go play hide and go seek. And my sister and my cousin went to go hide upstairs, and I got the idea that I was going to go hide downstairs in the basement. And pretty much our basement was like a no-go zone. You don't go there; it's dark and like kind of nasty, you know. My mom had this old refrigerator down there, and I went down there and I took out the racks in the refrigerator, and I hid them on the side, and I hid inside the refrigerator. So when I was trying to get like situated, I ended up knocking the refrigerator over on the door. So now I'm trapped in there, and I'm in there and I'm clawing and I'm pounding and I'm screaming, I'm trying to get out, and I'm probably there for 30 minutes before my mom ever even discovers that there's anything wrong. And she comes down, she kicks it over, and I'm like gasping for air. I'm so happy to get out, and like literally, that was the moment that I discovered, like for myself, that I need to be able to have freedom, and I need to be able to like choose how my life goes from like day to day, you know. And so now that manifests itself for me in a lot of different ways. That led me to the military, that led me into business, and that also like led me into photography too.
So let's talk about photography.
Yeah.
You were doing photography for a good amount of time now.
Totally.
What made you say, okay, I'm going to take a break from photography and I'm going to start doing digital marketing? Why digital marketing instead of anything else?
Well, the goal wasn't necessarily to take a break from photography, but one of the big things that I noticed with doing like digital media, multimedia, photography, and video was that I knew how to document things in a particular way, and I knew how to get attention.
Yeah.
Right? So I could get attention on media or blogs or, you know, commercials or billboards or magazines even, but I didn't know what to do once I got that attention. Right? And so these bigger brands that are out there, what they do is they create commercials, they create content, and they get your attention, but then they have these different channels that they're able to put it into to turn it into money.
Yeah.
So I became fascinated with how to do that, because I understood that for me was a master key to freedom.
Yeah.
If you could drive enough attention and then put that into a service or a product, then you could create more freedom for yourself in your business.
So when did you decide to do that? How long ago?
You know, I would say that I started getting fascinated with it maybe 2015.
Okay.
I knew little things. I knew quite a bit about multimedia prior to that, but I think 2015 was when it like started clicking for me, and I started like really tapping into the right information and getting around the right people that helped me kind of curve where that was going.
What would be the first step? Now you get to the right people. What kind of platform did you create it?
Well,
or did you get somebody to create for you, or did you people understand the how to like understand the platform and to able to create yourself?
Yeah. So what happened in my particular case is that me and my partner were able to identify a major problem in the online industry, the online business industry.
Okay.
And so that problem was they are monetizing their businesses by selling education and online courses and stuff like that in a lot of scenarios, but they didn't necessarily know how to get people to consume the content and actually learn from the thing that they bought.
Mm-hmm.
And so what would happen is they would drive a lot of attention and fill up their marketing funnels with a lot of people and sell them a thing. But once they sold them the thing, they didn't know how to actually deliver it.
Oh.
They knew how to technically deliver it, but they didn't know how to get you to actually get the results that you're intending to get when you buy into it.
Okay.
And so my partner she's a doctor of education.
Oh, nice.
Right? So her whole fascination, her entire life was like, how do I get people to actually learn once they consume a particular type of content, and what needs to happen in order to see that happens on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Right? And so we identified a problem in the industry. So
What was that?
What's that?
What was that?
The problem is that the businesses that were selling lots of education, millions of dollars worth, were really struggling with retention. They didn't know how to keep people in the program.
So how did you guys get in? What is your role you guys play, you and your partner?
Yeah. So the role that we play now is really disruptors, you know, because you could have a business that looks like it's doing really well.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, we had a potential client that was looking to do some stuff with us not very long ago. They do about $100 million a year
Mm-hmm.
in online courses.
Mm-hmm.
They have about a 3.9% completion rate on their program. So what that means is that 96% of the people that buy fall out of their funnel.
So they don't come back.
They don't come back and they don't buy. So our resolution for this is that to find a way to get them to actually get the value they're intending up front, so that when they buy, they're happy with that purchase. And then we know by the statistics that 60 to 70% of people that buy from you originally are more likely to buy from you the next time. But when they do, that's usually when, in a business, the higher end offers are made available. You know, masterminds, events, coaching programs, and things like that. Those are higher end products, but if you have a person that comes in through your lead funnel and they don't get to that next step, then you never get to make that offer to them. So we know that that's a very valuable thing.
Yes.
Right? Because what that means is that if you can retain the people that you get into your funnel,
Of course.
you have a much higher likelihood that they're going to do long-term business with you, become champions of your brand, and share that with
Other friends,
colleagues, and that kind of thing. And so the magnitude of what that means for a business is huge.
That's awesome. That's very smart of your business.
No.
So currently, that business we talk about. How many clients do you have right now, and what is the goal for it? That's good for that.
Well, I think a better question is how many people are we impacting, right? Because you have to imagine, like, each one of these marketing companies or influencers that are using our technology and our methodologies, like, each one of them is a key nodal point that's personally impacting millions of people, right?
Mm-hmm,
So if you were to ask me, like, what's the impact of that? I don't know what the long-term impact of that is, but what I do know is that people deserve to get what they pay for.
Yes.
And when they're buying something like this, like an online course, their thought process around this is, how do I get access to this thing that's going to make my life better? It could be business, it could be health, it could be, something creative. But certainly they believe that when they're making that purchase, whatever information that you have is going to make their life better. And we believe that should happen, right? And so there's a definite value attached to it. It's a lucrative business to be in. But at the end of the day, like it's for me, like I said, my earliest discovery in terms of what I want to do in my life is like freedom,
Yes.
right? So like I think there's something powerful to say about being able to choose how your life goes, and to me, this is a master key for that to happen. And because there's also a flip side.
Yes. What's the flip side?
The flip side is that yes, we're helping businesses make more money. That's great, but this actually applies to anyone who has a legacy or they have a passion. You can turn the thing that you love to do into something that fuels your life.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great way to put it.
So, to me, this is one of the greatest things I could be spending my time on.
Oh yeah,
You know?
because they always say, every great entrepreneur say, when you do something that you love, it's not work. So therefore, you're free to
Yeah.
to live, and it even doesn't matter how much time you're spending in it. So you know what I mean. So, what would you say about young youth who are searching for a way to become entrepreneur? What would you say about how would you encourage them to choose a tech avenue for them when it comes to the future as a career goal?
What I would say to the youth is that when I was a kid, the way that we lived life was completely different. Now, the youth really own attention,
Yeah.
right? They own attention. You may notice this, and I notice it certainly, like, I don't watch TV anymore
No.
at all.
Why do you?
I have TV,
Yeah.
but when I'm interacting with my TV, it's YouTube, it's Netflix, Hulu, or like Facebook or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. So the youth really own attention. Now, big brands really understand this, but they're not really applying it, right? So much so that like 80% of the advertising dollars that are going to budgets for marketing are spent on TV, but nobody's watching. So what that means is when these huge brands start to really understand that they're wasting their money and they start putting it toward the right channels, someone that's
Which few of them it's beginning to.
some of them, it's going to trickle over.
It's
right?
also because I see like not to cut you up. I see
Yeah.
like few so they call influencers are beginning to do commercials or like getting
Totally.
commercial to their ads, whether it's like on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's create platform. So they are beginning to say like it's slowly, of course, but they're beginning to do so.
Yeah, I mean, you have influencers that are taking advantage of like YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and things like that, right? And then you have some brands that are taking advantage of those platforms.
Yes.
But there's really going to be a there's a change, there's an evolution that's happening where the attention goes, the money actually flows. And so
Yes.
as a youth, when you start to understand the value that you have around the attention that you bring,
Yeah.
then you can monetize that. And so the platform doesn't necessarily matter. It could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be Snapchat, which is not as much of an impact anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because the platform doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just the understanding that the attention really lies with the people, and people are much more likely to buy and be influenced by other people that they already admire and are connected to. Now that's the difference between just putting ads into a billboard or a TV, thing that no one is really connected to, right? So if I were to give advice to a youth, I would say really start to understand that you have the value and grow your personal platform as large as you possibly can. Because then you can drive attention to your own services, your own products. You become the brand and you also become the channeling source versus needing a platform. You become the platform. And then you can literally live a powerful life that you love.
I couldn't even put it any better. Well, look, Lechon, I really appreciate for the take time to sit down with me, explain to the youth about how is that to run a marketing business, and also how to like understand the value of yourself and how you can make it that to a great platform if it's something you're interested about. I appreciate that. Hopefully in the future we can sit down when you do something else.
Yeah, certainly.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Until next time.